Hi, everyone. My name is Young Kim, and we have just about to start the engineering transfer webinar. We're going to wait for a few minutes for our guests to log in. We still have some more logging in as we are speaking. I'll start in a few minutes, if you can hold tightly. We'll be starting this webinar officially in a few minutes. But yeah, just hold on tightly and I'll be here and wait for maybe the 103 mark. But thank you all for coming. 1:03 p.m. I meant. Yes. While I'm here, we got a chat from, I think from the last name Shamsi. I don't want to butcher your name, but hey, how's it going? I'm doing good. I think hopefully everyone else is doing good and all our participants and attendees. But thanks for asking. Hey. Yes, happy Friday, everyone. And if you have just joined us, my name is Young Kim. I'm one of the academic advisors, and we'll be starting this webinar shortly. We just want to wait a few minutes for any of the last minute, people who want to join our webinar today. Okay, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to the transfer students to the open house webinar. This webinar is only for you. Actually, we only invited admitted transfer engineering students. First, we want to say we hope you and your close loved ones and family members or friends are doing well during these very challenging and uncertain times. Even though things appears to be getting better each day, but we still have those that are affected all over the world and even our state, and we still are feeling things. So we hope best for well-being and your safety. Secondly, we want to congratulate you on your admission to the Baskin School of Engineering, UC Santa Cruz. Again, my name is Young Kim. We have 6 academic advisors. I'm one of them for the Baskin School of Engineering, UC Santa Cruz. If so, these are students who were admitted, and which means that you're still, some of y'all deciding to see if this is the future career for you that you want to do at UC Santa Cruz. If you should decide to attend Baskin Engineering, you'll definitely be seeing me definitely during orientation in the near future, and hopefully in a few years when we can all kind of meet in person, we can actually see you at commencements in your cap and gown some years down the line. It seems like each year the admission level keeps getting, the rigor keeps getting higher and higher and higher. So we know that it wasn't easy, especially this year. But just know that this open house is an opportunity for you to ask questions about the Baskin Engineering at UC Santa Cruz and to learn more about our programs and student life. With that said, we have some excellent current students and a few staff members, and we'll go over them. They'll introduce themselves about the academic programs and what is life as a transfer student, down the road for y'all. Okay. Just to give you a little housekeeping, we want to keep the session as a very, a student panel kind of a Q&A session. We had already asked during your RSVP if there's any questions that you had for us to address. And I've already compiled the top 6 questions from there. But we would also like you to ask that in that chat function that every one of you are pretty sure are familiar with how to do Zoom. In the chat function, once we go through our 6 questions, and you can even start asking those questions now, we will start addressing those questions as we will go through these through this time. This event will end at 2, and we'll try to get as much of your questions as possible. We're going to start off with introductions. Again, Young Kim, academic advisor for the Baskin Engineering. I'm one of, I love transfer students. I'm a transfer student myself. In fact, I'm not sure. I'm from Orange Coast College. Go Pirates. I'm not sure if any of y'all are Orange Coast College here. But when I take a look at the RSVP list, I already kind of knew half the names, and I've already seen and spoke to y'all. Some of y'all are on Zoom already. So I want to welcome y'all to this event, and I look forward to seeing hopefully every one of y'all. Next, I'm gonna transition this over to our next person, named Carmen Robinson, and then we're gonna go with another staff member and current students thereafter themselves.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited that you might be choosing UCSC as your home. We can't wait to actually see you all in the fall. I'm Carmen Robinson. I'm the Director of Student Excellence, Engagement, and Inclusion at the Baskin School of Engineering. I'm so excited that you all are joining us today, and I hope you enjoy. Make sure you ask any question. There's no question too small. Just let us know, and we're looking forward to it. Jennifer?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Wood. I use she, her pronouns. I am the Mesa Engineering Program Academic Counselor. So I don't know if any of you are involved in Mesa programs where you're coming from, but we have an engineering Mesa program at UCSC. So Young is also asking us to give our hometown and a fun fact. So I was born in Seattle, Washington, but I grew up in the East Bay area, East San Francisco Bay, so Oakland and Richmond. I went to El Cerrito High School. And then a fun fact, wow, I have so many fun facts about me. How about I won my junior high spelling bee in 7th grade? So that's my fun fact of the day. I'm so glad that you all made it today. Hopefully you'll get some good information. Definitely these are the students to ask. So I'm welcoming you. The next panelist is Stephanie. So Steph, over to you.
You're muted, Stephanie.
I remembered to turn on my camera, but not my mic. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I'm a 5th year electrical engineering transfer student. I'm from Orange County, if anyone's familiar with the area down here in SoCal. And fun fact, I enjoy bouldering on my free time, or I did. I had a fall recently, so I'm taking a break, but yeah, fun hobby.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kenzie. Whoa. Okay. My name's Kenzie. I use she, her pronouns. I'm affiliated with Porter College. My major, I'm a 4th year computer engineering student with a concentration in digital hardware. I am from the Central Valley, Porterville, California. I'm here right now. It's getting hotter. I miss the beach weather. And a fun fact about myself is I'm actually also a tour guide for the school. So if you take any virtual tours with the admissions department, you might see me there helping answer questions. So that's a little about me, and I'm going to pass it off to Ricardo.
Hey everyone, I'm a 3rd year computer science major with a minor in bioinformatics. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am a Stevenson College affiliate, and my hometown is San Pablo, California. It's like next to Richmond and like Oakland. So yeah, people usually don't know where San Pablo is. But a fun fact about me is that I like to do photography in my spare time. This is a picture right here that I've taken. It's in black and white. It's like at the beach. I love taking pictures. And yeah, that's some about me, and I'll pass it off to Tiana.
Alrighty, hello. I am Tiana. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm affiliated with Cowell College. My major is biomolecular engineering and bioinformatics with my concentration in bioinformatics. I'm from San Mateo, California. It's south of San Francisco. I went to Aragon High School. I don't know if we have any Aragon students in the meeting. And then a fun fact, I really like biology and technology. And so I wanted to share a fact about UCSC. UCSC, one of the greatest feats of UCSC is that we were the first to publish a working draft of the human genome onto the internet for scientists all around the world to use. And it has so much data. I would check it out. It's really cool. And then I'll pass it on to Chico.
Yes, hello. My name is Gico Carlo Evangelista. I go by he, him, his. I am affiliated with College 10 and I am a computer science major. I'm from Fairfield, California, so it's around, I'd say like a 15-minute drive from Oakland. And a fun fact I would say, I guess I am bilingual. I speak English and Tagalog, which is language of like what Filipinos would say. Yeah, I'll pass it on to Evan.
Hi, everyone. My name is Evan Mercado. I use he, him pronouns. I am affiliated with Crown College. I'm from Canyon Country, California, just a little north of Los Angeles. And a fun fact about me is I like to play the bass guitar. The most recent song I learned how to play was this one called Book of Saturday by King Crimson, if you're familiar. But yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Evan. I apologize. I didn't address this earlier. My pronouns that I go by is he, him, his. And one interesting fact about me is I am let's just say dad. My baby was born 13 days ago. So new dad right here. So just trying to balance work and, and fatherhood and having 2 hours of sleep each night if I can get any. But I'm just really proud to be a dad, and hopefully my son is going to be a future slug as well. Okay. Before we start the Q&A session, and I want to ask our attendees if you could ask questions away in the Q&A and chat function. We want to compile those as this event is ongoing. But before we address those Q&A, Evan. I asked Evan because he's a transfer student to kind of talk about yourselves and your life here and some of the reasons of UCSC and reasons why you chose UCSC. So Evan Mercado, go for it.
Yeah, thanks, Young. So I would say the big reason why I chose UC Santa Cruz, well, I guess like to give you like some background on it. So before I came to UC Santa Cruz, I went to Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon for 1 year. And then I went to a community college, right, for 2 years. I went to College of the Canyons, just down here in Canyon Country. So I left Lewis and Clark just because it was really expensive up there. And then obviously, right, Canyon Country, or I left College of the Canyons because, right, it's community college. So I knew that I wanted to be part of the UC system, because it's a lot more local than like somewhere up in Portland. It's a lot less expensive, and I'd find like kind of like the storied history of like the UC system very kind of like inspiring. So I knew I wanted to be part of like the UC system. So I ended up getting into San Diego, Santa Barbara, and Santa Cruz. But the reason why I chose Santa Cruz, I think ultimately came down to the environment. I think we've all kind of learned from over like the last year how important like your learning environment or like how impactful it can be on you and your like ability to learn. So I just found the environment of Santa Cruz to be very welcoming for me and very I found it like very kind of like an inspiring environment for me. I really enjoyed how small the school was, how small Santa Cruz as a town was. And I guess I felt in that way. Yeah, well, because I just knew I didn't want to be part of like in like a big city And I just wanted to be in kind of
Hi, y'all. I'm not sure if it's me, but it looks like Evan.
okay. I'm
Is it
back.
okay? Sorry, Evan.
Sorry, yeah.
I personally couldn't hear you for the past, minute. But if you can just, you were talking about the big. I heard big city. That's something and a welcoming environment.
Oh,
Go for it. You can go ahead and start from there. At least that's what I've seen for the last time.
okay, yeah. So yeah, I guess what I was saying is like what really kind of drew me to Santa Cruz was just like the smaller environment of it. I guess kind of like the way I like to see it is it's kind of like it's like a smaller school with kind of like the resources of like a big school, Um, yeah, so I like what I enjoy about Santa Cruz is kind of just kind of like the small environment in the community. You get to really like you don't get to know everyone, but you with like people in your classes and in your major, you definitely get to like form relationships with them and get familiar with them. And I think that's really important. And that was something I was definitely looking for in like my college experience. Yeah, I think that was pretty much everything.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Evan. We are going to be officially starting the program, the Q&A session. And I will ask. What we did was when we asked all your attendees, questions beforehand. It looks like a lot of you are going to be future slugs. It looks like a lot of you have already put in your statement of intent to register. And a lot of those questions, like what's happening next? I can feel the anxiety, and I don't blame y'all. People want to know, like, hey, I put my statement of intent to register, but what goes on afterwards? And people are eager to start actually. And I hate to give out more of the policy thing at the very first beginning of Q&A, but this is y'all here to learn about information. So let me kind of run over what happens when you put in your statement of intent to register, or hopefully the folks here who are kind of shopping around for your future academic life. If you should put in your statement of intent to register, this will be happening. The deadline is June 1. In 2021, to put in your statement of intent to register. The orientation office, and we call it just orientation at UCSC, will be emailing each and every one of you about what goes on next. Summer orientation, how do we orient you? And there's a lot of I went to a webinar yesterday about it, and there's a lot of fun, interesting things that are going to be happening. But I'll leave it up to the orientation office to give you that information. But at least on our end, Baskin School Engineering and the UCSC orientation, we will ask each and every one of you to send us your unofficial transcripts and we'll give you direction on how to do that. Okay. And with that, we will kind of look at those unofficial transcripts, see what courses that one has taken and what courses that you are, in some sense, already still taking, because a lot of you in the semester system in the spring. We will do those course evaluations for those students who went to a four-year college or outside of community college at California. We will ask you that if there's any courses that you think that will be applicable to your major, to provide a syllabus so that we can evaluate those courses. And then Baskin School Engineering will contact you about courses, what to take in the next fall. And I know when I was on your end, when I was that young person, even though my name is young, when I was that person, going to community college, Orange Coast College, and then going to the next step, I took a look at my future courses and realized, oh my goodness, they are all completely taken. I haven't even, started school yet. I'm not even here next fall. How am I supposed to, register for next fall? And that's a good anxiety. I totally understand your situation from there. But what happened is that, yeah, students who are in the, who started Frosh right now have taken those courses. However, we as an engineering advising office have blocked off a large chunk of these courses that junior students, incoming junior students will be taking. And by the time that you start orientation, and after a course evaluation, we will give you these slots. We have kind of reserved and preserved all of those courses for you to take. So not to say, hey, do not worry about it right now. Just know that you're coming in, and just know that we already have these courses set just for you transfer students. Okay. Just know that eventually you'll have to send in your official transcripts to UCSC. And let me just say, you really got to do that. That they know. I can't speak for words and everything, but by the deadline, please submit your official transcripts to UCSC. Okay. In this webinar, there are certain things that just since it's engineering webinar, we want to focus more on our academic programs and student life. Any questions about housing or financial aid? That's a question that we want to push over to those respective offices. It's kind of like what I say. It's like asking for pepperoni pizza at a bank. We are engineering, so we just want to focus more on the engineering aspects of your life coming in here. And then declaration, what we say, declaration of your major. That's a lot of your questions were, how do I declare? What is declaration and everything like that? Just in a nutshell, I want to say, hey, I know you're eager and I know you want to be future slugs, and you're going to be future slug, most of y'all, just like this slug right here on my left shoulder, the cute one, you can say. Just know that we will be sending you and submitting information about declaration in the fall, because we encourage transfer students to declare your major in the fall. We'll be sending it out during summer. So right now, you can say future-wise, we'll be sending you that information. And part of that thing is that once you are declared, and it's a process for y'all, because we have to look at your plan, create a major plan for your future roadmap of your life here. Once you are declared permanently into engineering. Okay. There's also questions about IGETC, IGETC certification. That is something that we want to like that whole financial aid and housing office. That is not through engineering, but most of y'all have completed your IGTC, the general education, and that information will be regarded to you during the summer orientation as well. Okay. Sorry, I had to push a lot of these policies out initially, and that is a lot of reasons why a lot of y'all want to know first. But let's get into more fun stuff. Let's get into more like your major wise and student life wise and everything. So I'm going to be in the background answering any more policy questions. Carmen Robinson will be the moderator from here on, and Carmen Robinson will be asking the questions from here. And our panelists will be answering these questions. And we encourage you to type in your questions after we finish off with the questions that we saw the day before. Okay, thank you, and I'll be here. Go for it, Carmen.
Thank you, Young. So our first question is, how rigorous is the CS program at the school? Will we be offered the freedom to choose what language we can apply in specific programming courses? How large are the undergraduate classes for computer science? How is the computer science community? Are there CS clubs?
I guess I can answer this one. So yes, I would say the CS program at UCSC is rigorous. All of the classes that you'll be taking are going to be challenging, but they really do help you develop that foundation when it comes to the background for computer science, as both in the theoretical aspects of it as well as the practical. As far as languages go, it depends on the courses. Typically, when you take your introductory courses, you'll be learning first Python, and you'll also be learning C. And there are also specific programming courses as well, like advanced programming, which you'll be learning C++. But there's also some courses that have that let you have that freedom to choose the language. Two examples would be in 138, which is distributed systems. You can sort of create a distributed system with whatever language you choose. So another example would be for 115A, or the 115 series, which is the software engineering series, where you and your team will have to make some kind of sort of application using the Scrum framework. And in that class, you also have the freedom to choose whatever languages you want to. For class sizes, I would say that the introductory courses for computer science are fairly large. The largest one I've been in one is with 400 students. That's typically for the introduction to like Python courses. But typically, as you sort of like move through the curriculum and you go into your more advanced courses, or we call them upper division courses, those typically tend to be um, a quarter of 400 people, so typically around 200 to 100 people. But yeah, they are fairly large, I would say, but they do shrink down as you continue your academic career here. And as for the computer science community, everyone's very supportive of each other. We all try to like help each other out when it comes to assignments, studying for exams and tests, and we just want to sort of like motivate each other to bring each other up to succeed and to pass our classes. And for CS clubs, we don't have a specific CS club, but we do have ACM, which is the Association for Computer Machinery, that focuses a lot on tech, and they do have a lot of workshops that focus on development, whether that be in your career or just with like computer development, like software and writing programs and stuff.
Great, thank you. So our next question says, so I'm curious on what a day in the life of an electrical engineering major is like. What are the labs like? Do they provide hands-on learning?
Oh, I can take this one. So yeah, from my first quarter, I was like, the first class that you take is, if you're a transfer student, is probably going to be intro to circuits if you're electrical engineering. And yeah, right from the get-go for that lab, you get your breadboard, you end up doing circuits, and you end up like learning the basics. And that's pretty common throughout a lot of your courses. A lot of them, if you'll notice, have labs, and those labs can range from like breadboards and circuits to using MATLAB, to, if it's an elective class, you get specialized test benches. So I've worked with like optics before, stuff like that. So you see it a lot. And then also, if you're EE, you'd also be taking some computer engineering classes. And even there, you do start off with just like your basic programming assignments, but you end up building up to using or implementing your code in hardware. So like coding different like little games on a microcontroller, things like that. So there is a lot of opportunity for like a lot of hands-on involvement. And it's pretty common in the EE classes. Anything that comes with the lab, you're gonna get hands-on something. Even remotely, they've been shipping out the kits. So it's pretty common for you to be getting hands-on experience right away.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. So the next question is, what is the most significant challenge an engineer computer science student should think about before graduating from the UC? So I'm graduating from UCSC.
Yeah, so I'll answer that question. And before like I say like what the challenge is, well, this is a challenge for me personally, is that as a current student, I battle with imposter syndrome, and so do so many others. And something that's a little comforting to know is that, we got it like offered an acceptance to the school. So it's a little comforting to know that like at least someone out there thinks I should be here. But as I tend to look around a lecture hall, I see people who like I think have it all figured out, but in reality, none of us have it figured out. So what I found that has really helped me is making connections, making friends in Baskin Engineering. And like Chico said, the CS department here is very supportive. It's a supporting environment. And as I've progressed, these connections are the ones that support me. It's been either a classmate, a member of a club, or even an advisor. So to answer the question, it's something you should really consider is just, making like a web of people around you who also know what you're going through and can help you out when you're not really doing well. And that's really, when you establish yourself, that's what's going to keep you moving forward. And once you're done here, you will have a net of people from diverse backgrounds that you can reach out to for any reason.
Thank you so much, Ricardo, for that. Our next question is it possible for transfer students to get into the 5th-year master's program? How do I get into the 5 years program? So the 4+1 program.
Yeah, I can take over this question. So actually, I am a part of one of the 4+1 programs here on campus. You don't have to be here for 4 years. Obviously, as trans students, we're here for maybe 1 or 2 years. And there's multiple types of 4+1 programs. And basically, what the 4+1 does is, as the name implies, you get your master's in 1 year versus the normal 2. And you do it at the same school. So there's no GRE requirements, which is a exam that you have to take, kind of like the SATs and ACTs for your undergraduates, kind of the same thing for graduate school. And Santa Cruz has 4+1 programs for computer engineering, electrical engineering. I believe I think most of the engineering programs have 4+1s, but you can also apply to different 4+1s that aren't directly your major that you're doing for your undergraduate. So in my situation, I am part of the SciCam program. It is a 4+1 program, and SciCam stands for Scientific Computing and Applied Mathematics. And it's geared towards people who are in the engineering department. So being a computer engineering student, I was eligible to apply. And you, again, get your master's in 1 year. It involves taking, I think, around 5 or 6 classes. And then either you do a thesis, in my situation, you either do a thesis if you want to do more of a research route, or you can take extra courses that will prepare you for industry level work. So there's different options you guys can have. And obviously in the program that I'm doing right now, there was also a scholarship involved. So sometimes they might offer scholarships with these fellowships. And the school offers, they offer workshops. I think around this time they started doing them, and they'll do them again next year. But they will offer programs and workshops that kind of explain what the 4+1 programs are, what are involved, the different types. If you're a CE or EE and you want to, go into a 4+1 with another major, that's definitely possible. So there's a lot of different options for you. So if you are interested in pursuing a master's degree, or you're not sure if you want to do that first, or going to industry first, or going to research, there's definitely people to talk to, and those workshops are very, very helpful. And yeah, that's about all I have to say for that one.
Thanks so much, Kinsey. That's great information. Okay, our next question is, can you tell me more about engineering student organizations at BSOE?
I'll take that one. Yes, so BSOE has a number of student organizations, and I'm going to talk about a couple of ones that are run by programs, and they're run by staff, and I'm going to then talk about student organizations and clubs. Okay. So you heard me mention in the introductions that I'm the academic counselor for the Mesa Engineering program. So this is one program that provides resources and services to students, and it is run by staff. So this program is open to students who meet at least 2 or more criteria. Eligibility criteria, and I will post a link to our webpage. I'll post links to all of the things that I mentioned as soon as I'm done talking. I can't multitask this week, y'all. It's just been that kind of week. So afterwards, we'll get the links in the chat. But MEP is for students who have been minoritized or underrepresented in higher education and in engineering. So first gen, low income, students of color are primary groups. That is one program. They also is a program called STEM Diversity that has a number of connections to research and faculty doing research on campus. And that's another great program that's also run by staff. We have a number of student clubs that are open for students' participation and that are being advised by different staff, but are basically student leadership. So we have clubs such as a Society of Women Engineers, SWE. We have SHIP, which is the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. We have NSBE, which is the National Society of Black Engineers. We have SACE, which is the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers. And then we have a number of other clubs. And like I said, I will be linking this page, but there are clubs that are related specifically to certain areas of interest, like Formula Slug for and creative tech design, and IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. And Jico mentioned ACM, right? So there's the Association for Computing Machinery. We also have a rocket team and robotics club. So there's a lot of different clubs that are available for students. And then the question was specific to BSOE, but I also wanted to point out that the campus has a number of clubs and organizations as well. So many students decide to join a club that is related to another interest of theirs, so that they've got a little bit more going on in their life besides just engineering, right? So some students will join the soccer club, or the the film club or something like that. So I'll post some links for that. And then last, but very much not least, I highly recommend that you connect with STARS. This is an organization that exists to serve transfer students. And under the umbrella of STARS, they have programs for veterans and family of veterans. They have programs for students who have come through the foster system or have experienced some family trauma throughout their life. And also for reentry students, so students who are older, non-traditional students, and also student parents are supported through STARS. So much information. So now I'm going to start sharing some links. I see Young. Young, did you have something to share? No? Okay, great. So Carmen, back over to you.
All right, thanks so much. That's great information, Jennifer, and we would love for you to join our organizations. My next question is, how much programming is done in the bioinformatics program? Is the bioinformatics program more focused on biology or computer science? Is it realistic to be a computer science major and minor in bioinformatics as well?
I can take this one. So yeah, there is quite a bit of programming in the bioinformatics program. Usually, if you were to come in as a freshman, you would take a lot of introductory courses in biology and chemistry, and also some introductory courses in like computer science to get the basics of programming. But as you move forward, you are going to be doing a lot more programming in relation to like bioinformatics. And then I would say that it's pretty evenly split between biology and computer science. I would say it's more of a split though between like biology, computer science, and then also math and statistics, just because it's pretty focused on like data science. We have to use like a lot of data science principles and mathematical concepts to implement into our different algorithms. And it's absolutely realistic to be a computer science major and minor in bioinformatics as well. I would say it's roughly like 8 classes that are not included in the computer science degree, or the curriculum, I guess. And Ricardo is also an example of someone who is a computer science major who has a minor in bioinformatics. And I will say too that beyond just programming within the degree as well, there are also quite a lot of opportunities for students to do more bioinformatics programming through research. It's pretty common for undergraduate students to get involved with labs and learn bioinformatics programming through those means. So yeah, quite a bit of programming. You'll definitely have work to do.
Great, thanks so much, Tiana. All right, we have another question that's asked, any tips on transferring from a semester system to a quarter system in terms of keeping up with engineering homework? Will there be opportunities to do research with graduate students or professors?
Okay, I'll answer that one. So I'll say the 2 colleges I went to before here were both semester school systems. And it's kind of funny just how you transition to it. It really comes very naturally. Now I don't know how I did the semester system. Like 15 weeks seems like such a long time. And so it really is kind of like, it's really not too difficult of a transition. You don't really feel it too much, I would say. And I think maybe that kind of, maybe just taking like, like standard 3 classes instead of 4 classes is maybe something that kind of helps out in that. But it really isn't too difficult to transition over. Now, as for research opportunities with professors and grad students, so I don't actually personally have any experience with that, but I am aware that a lot of like professors who I have had classes with, they are doing, they are doing research on campus, and there is a lot of opportunity to do research with them. Like they are looking for undergraduate students to help them in their labs. Yeah, it's definitely something that's very common. Yeah, all you have to do really is, because most professors, they have like their own websites and stuff, so you can just like read their papers online, and then just talk to them about their research. And yeah, most of the time, maybe they'll give you like a tour of their lab. They'll tell you maybe some classes that they think you should take if you want to be involved. And yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Evan. So I have a question that will probably be helpful to most of the attendees. Young, could you talk about the declaration for transfer students and how it's more of in name only? Can you kind of explain that process for?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I do want to say, when I was in all your shoes as a transfer students, there are a lot of policy, a lot of acronyms that we throw out, and we apologize for that. And one of these declarations is one of the first questions for transfer students: what is this declaration? What are you declaring? Like, you declare your major? What is that? It's kind of like some students saw it as like, when for some of y'all who were getting citizenship, you declare that you're a citizenship, kind of like that. And it is a process. It's official process by University of Santa Cruz campus. So whether you're engineering, whether you're a sociology major, psychology major, any of the major UCSC, all students, freshmen and transfer students, have to declare your major. Now, I don't want to confuse y'all about this. Freshmen have their declaration process. They have to complete these courses, and I don't want to get too much further into that. I don't want to confuse y'all. But for transfer students, y'all did it at your community college. And when we were all looking at your admission criteria and your transcript and your shared review of your application, we had determined that, oh yes, that person is, when they come to UCSC, they will be able to declare, and they're able to be successful, and they'll be able to graduate, so that's the hope for that. So declaration process is a major process for UCSC. In the fall, now we said we're going to send you information. Part of that process is that, as you are coming into UCSC, you need to know certain policies, because you've been knowing policies about your, what you're used to, your community college or your other 4 years that you're used to. We just want to give you information about what goes on as you declare and you're a part of this major itself. Okay, so I think one of the questions is that, oh, I was admitted as an EE student. I don't mean to pick on this as one particular student, but you're admitted to your major, which means that since you've been reviewed before that as your application, you are able to declare your major. So whether you're EE, computer science, or game design, or whichever, you are able to declare, it's a process, your first fall quarter here. And part of that declaration process, as advisors, and as we're looking out for you, not only will we give you information about the policy further ahead, but we like to give you information about how to create your plan. Engineering, as every one of you has already knows, even your community college students, you have to map out your life pretty well for engineering. You can't really mess around, I hate to say. You can't take calculus 1, 2, and 3 all in one quarter. See, that's what I want to say. We need to map out your future life here, because there's a lot of prerequisites to these. A lot of future courses depend on this one course. If you miss that one course, you can't take your senior design courses, stuff like that. So part of this declaration is to declare your major, but it's also for us advisors to connect with students like yourself to find out and kind of map your life as you move forward for your life. So the way I like to say, it's like a dark cave. You know, as transfer students, you are in this dark cave. This, you know, the Plato's cave, if you want to say. And we, as academic advisors, would like to kind of have like a camera, you know, like a phone camera, and we're like kind of like the flashlight. We want to help you navigate through this tunnel, so that you're able to you know, breathe. That's the best way to say it. So yes, all of you attendees here who are admitted to UCSC as your engineering major will be able to declare, and it's a declaration process to kind of recap to help you move forward to academic life here and to ensure that I hate to say you don't waste money and you don't waste time in some sense. You know, transfer students, you know, you've already kind of paid your dues at community college. You're here at UC Santa Cruz to, you know, to get education, and we want to help you not, hate to say waste time, but save your time and money. So that's the in a nutshell.
Thanks. So I have a question for Stephanie. What has your, and this might be for Evan too, actually, but what has your experience been with internships and research in the EE department? Have you been involved in either?
So I actually haven't been involved in either. I've been involved more in like the clubs than anything. But there's always the opportunity to be involved in research, you know, like it's as easy as just approaching a professor and you just start talking to them about whatever they're studying. Like I've had the opportunity before, but it's just I haven't actually done it at Santa Cruz. But yeah, there's always the opportunity. Professors always seem very like enthusiastic about discussing like what they're looking into, and as long as you like approach them with that same enthusiasm, I feel it's pretty easy for you to just like get involved with research and stuff like that in EE.
Awesome, thanks. Young, do you want to talk a little bit about after this program?
Yes, thank you, Carmen. This is a student forum. This is a webinar, and we realized all these questions is general to everyone. But I also know that when I talk to transfer students, there's a lot of questions that they want to ask just personally for me as academic advisors, and that regards to many different things from, you know, transcripts that we don't want to talk about overall here, to, you know, your courses and just things that you need to talk to me on a one or more direct personal level. I'm going to send you through the chat for everyone. I only have 4 slots open or 5 slots open, and this is opportunity to talk to me about more confidential information. So I'd be happy to meet with students who would like to talk to me. And like I said, these are more about confidential information that you do not want to discuss with everyone here. This is recorded, so we don't want you know, if y'all don't want your, you know, want to discuss this with everyone and just want to talk to me, that's not going to be recorded. I'm going to be putting into the chat function on how to reserve those spots. But I'll do that right now. But so far, thank you all, and then I'll put that information right now. Okay, thank you, Carmen.
No problem. I have another question. I know it's different for everyone, but in your opinion, what should we need to be focusing on or review any material to succeed as a computer science major before we start at UCSC?
I'll answer that question. So I believe that you know, your coursework leading up to your acceptance at UCSC should prepare you, but I would recommend looking into brushing up on Python and C, because I know that a lot of classes at UCSC study Python, C, and also C++. So far, I've used Python and C. I will learn C++ soon. Also, in regards to other computer science like topics, I'd recommend looking up data structures, some algorithms such as stuff I can think of off the top of my head, like maybe like without getting into depth with like the courses, maybe things like dynamic programming, greedy algorithms, things like that. That's some topics that coursework covers, but that's a good starting place right there.
Thank you, Ricardo. So I have a question about, I guess it's more like major migration young. So we have a student that was a CS major, and they want to know if it's possible to switch to computer engineering.
Cool. So well, I have to say the catalog says, hey, whatever you applied to way back in November, that's the major you were admitted to. And I have to say, as policy wise, I hate to say that's the major that you would need to be going forward with. However, at the same time, we as engineering department in school thought that, hey, we should be a little bit more flexible, at least for those students who have SI CERD. Students who have SIR'd we'll give this one last chance, one last review, and we'll send you that link sometime in the month of June to say this is your last chance to ask if you want to be in another major. And we'll give you that link in the month of June. And the academic BSOE review committee will review your transcripts one last time to see if you have met the qualifications for that, the switch of the major that you would like to do. So I have to let you know, policy wise, I have to let you know that we're not supposed to do that, but we're gonna do that, and we'll give you that one last chance. But that one last chance, we are opening it up to students who've already put their statement of intent to register. And it is also not guaranteed. So for the student who wanted to be electrical engineering or computer engineering, we will evaluate your transcripts as if you were applied way back in November and if you have met the qualifications for that new major itself.
Awesome, thanks. We have another question. It could possibly be two-parter. So I'm going to ask them both together. So as a biomolecular engineering and bioinformatics major, how much does your concentration affect how many computer science and data science classes you will take? And then another question is, are there student study groups, tutoring, study resources in biomolecular bioinformatics?
Yeah, I can take this one. So as a bioinformatics major, if you're doing the bioinformatics concentration, you're going to be taking more computer science and like programming classes than you would if you were doing the biomolecular engineering concentration. And you take a fair amount of computer science courses that are like officially offered from the computer science department. So these are courses that are like computer science and engineering, like algorithms and data structures. And so you take a number of those. It's not too many, because once you start moving later on into your career, you're going to be taking more biomolecular engineering courses that use those topics that you've learned in those classes. So yeah, if you choose the bioinformatics concentration, you will definitely be taking more computer science classes, and more so like implementing data science into your classes, since we don't really have any like data science classes, I guess. And then, are there student study groups and tutoring study resources in biomolecular and bioinformatics? Yeah, so we have the Bioinformatics Club. It's a club that just focuses on talking about bioinformatics. They do workshops, resumes, all sorts of stuff like that. So usually you'll have other people who are in like your classes, and so you can team up with them. There are some classes that have tutoring, but these are more like your introductory sort of courses. Like your introductory sort of like CS courses or bio courses, chem. And so I don't know how relevant this might be to like transfer students, but there aren't very many like tutoring or like study groups or anything in your upper division biomolecular engineering courses. Although you can make them, usually those classes are like pretty small, so you can just, it's pretty easy to reach out to students. Like sometimes there are like group research projects where you can reach out to people. But yeah, I would say that meeting up with your teaching assistants for the course is like the best way to really like build study groups and like learn more of the material along with other students.
Thank you, Tiana. So I think we have time for one last question, and it's going to be on computer engineering. So is there a clear path at UCSC if I want to work on hardware for AI, ML as a computer engineering major?
I can probably touch briefly on this. So like I had mentioned, I have a concentration within computer engineering, which is digital hardware, and the computer engineering department offers 5 different concentrations. I think there's like a robotics concentration, there's a networks concentration. So the concentrations kind of also range from more on the hardware side and kind of range over to more software-based stuff. So in terms of the more specific AI machine learning classes, you are welcome to take other classes in the computer science and engineering department. There are machine learning AI classes there, and you could take those as like your elective if you choose to do so. If you have time in your schedule where you want to take an extra class or you want to take a class over summer, that's also an option. You can take those classes as well. It's not really holding you back as long as you get everything else done that you're supposed to graduate. So in the computer engineering division, I'm not quite sure. There's not really a sort of concentration for those 2 types of things, but there are definitely other classes that you guys can take during a lighter quarter, or maybe even over summer, that could count as your elective for your curriculum. So that's definitely an option for you guys.
All right, Young. We have a few other questions, but that I think some of them are kind of specific, so you might want to meet with Young. But Young, do you want to take that on?
Yeah, I've already looked at my email. Looks like a lot of you have already signed into my one-on-one session. Carmen, I think we have one more question. Do you know everyone that we should answer any of them?
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
have
one more.
one that could be kind of, it might be a little long, but it might be helpful. So when I was accepting my offer from UCSC, there was a step that I needed to choose my preference from 10 colleges that are in UCSC. Can you explain how does that affect and work with my academic career? This might be a good question for Evan as a transfer student.
Yeah, I can definitely answer this one, and especially because I am part of Crayon College.
Perfect.
It doesn't really affect anything. Yeah, it really doesn't matter too much. I guess the only thing that's kind of like is different is like where you are on campus when you live on campus. But otherwise, because like as transfer students, we don't really have to take like the freshman classes, like the freshman college classes. So those things don't really affect us too much. But yeah, it's really just kind of like where you live and yeah, just kind of like who you're going to be living around and what dining hall you're around. Me personally, I really enjoy the Crown Dining Hall. I think it's very underrated, but.
So Carmen, yeah, I think that was an excellent last question. And we can have a whole webinar, a full hour discussing food and dining and everything like that, just at UCSC. But that's for a future time. And so when some of you slugs are going to be attending UCSC and hopefully the future ones, that's a good topic for y'all to talk about where to get the best food on campus. And believe it or not, there's 5, I believe there's 5 different dining halls. And believe it or not, even though they serve the same food, they do have a little bit of taste. They have a little bit of like I said, Evan will say, I really like the Crown One. And I just thought it's kind of like McDonald's or wherever. They all kind of taste the same. It does not. They all kind of have their own different taste. I just want to say I like the College 910 dining hall, but that's my own personal opinion. Evan has yours. I'm sure Kenzie and Tiana has their own personal opinion. But at any rate, it is 2:00 p.m. and this webinar session has officially will end right now. We want to thank not only the panelists, thank you all for serving your time and volunteering your time to be on this panel. And I know y'all, this is finals week, or yeah, this is actually, well, I won't say finals week, but this is a lot of stuff is going on with y'all. You're transfer students and engineering students. Also, I just want to say to all of our attendees, some of you are going to be future slugs, just like this cute one that's on my left shoulder. And hopefully for some of you who are deciding, hopefully you decide want to come to UCSC. So thank you all, and we'll see you in the future for most of y'all. Thank you very much. Bye.